Hello and welcome back to our socially distanced wine club at Abel Cole. In case we haven't met, my name is Honey. I am Abel Cole's wine guru, and I am passionate about organic wine and organic farming. We all want to do a bit for the planet, so why not start by making sure that the wine that we drink is made sustainably and without the additions that frankly we and the planet just don't need. Today we are going to take a trip to one of the best and of course one of my favorite winemaking regions, countries in the world. We are going to Italy. Pizzas, piazzas, tiramisu, the Aperol Spritz. Where to even begin with how amazing Italy is and the creative foodie genius that has been unleashed over the centuries from a relatively small country. Needless to say, Italy is absolutely crammed with vintage treasures. They boast 500 plus grape varieties, many of which are indigenous to Italy and many of which have yet to be recorded. The long, thin shape of Italy means that there is a huge variety of so-called terroirs. By that we mean soil types, microclimates, and what that means is there is a huge amount of wine to choose from. So from the mountain ranges of the north to Sicily's sun-soaked shores, I define you not to find an Italian wine that you love. Okay, what you will need: your wine glass, your bottle opener, and your wine. Best 3-ingredient recipe ever. Okay, are we ready? Wine number 1. We're not going to start with Prosecco. I'll tell you why. Prosecco is an amazing aperitif, but I want to build up by way of fruit on this tasting. So we're going to start with a nice dry white wine. This is made by Barone Pizzini. My Italian friends are going to ridicule me for that pronunciation. I'm so happy that this is in our Italian bundle. Verdicchio is such a solid wine. So yes, the grape is called Verdicchio. We are in Lombardia in Italy, in a sub-region called Franciacorta. Franciacorta actually also make their own amazing sparkling wines, but this is a still white wine. The grape Verdicchio is a great one for if you love white wine but find the flavors of, say for example, Sauvignon Blanc a little bit too intense. And also not that many people have heard of it, so if you order Verdicchio in a restaurant, it's a stylish move. Okay, are we ready to go? We are going to pour ourselves some wine. You can pour as much as you like, just make sure that you can get a good swirl on the glass. We're going to swirl it, take a sniff. I'm getting this really nice citrusy stone fruits on the nose. Take a sip. Remember what I said about making sure some of the air goes over your tongue? Not on a first date, remember that? Yeah, so much lemony freshness. Amazingly, with this variety, when you age it, it can get really complex, really nutty. Here, this is a really nice young version, so it's really citrusy, really fresh, but you begin to pick up on some of this kind of nuttiness, which makes it actually really good with food and really good by itself. Yeah, absolutely solid wine. I love having this kind of wine with something like mozzarella, a little bit of olive oil, a little bit of sea salt, maybe some preserved lemons or just some lemon zest over the top. Amazing. Okay, wine number 2. We are in Sicily now, on the west coast. The winery that we're going to be tasting from is called the Hoopoe Winery. I love this story. The hoopoe is a bird, and apparently the hoopoe bird only graces the finest organic vineyards with the finest organic grapes, and doesn't bother with the conventionally farmed vineyards. So as nice as this story is for the winery, it's probably a blessing and a curse to have such a pretty bird in your vineyards eating your very precious organic grapes. So here we have Pinot Grigio and Catarata. Catarata is an indigenous grape to Sicily, and I love Catarata because when it's made, when the vineyards of Catarata are planted near the sea, the wine picks up this really nice, savory, saline kind of profile, which I just love. We're going to pour ourselves a little bit of the wine. The grapes, they're picked a little bit earlier than a lot of other grape varieties in Sicily, and the reason behind that is that the Hoopoe Winery, they want to keep the wine as fresh as possible. And when we smell it, I mean straight away, this is a really nice fresh wine. So swirl and smell, I'm getting sort of soft peaches. It's a very nice, clean smelling wine. Again, some citrusy notes. On the palate, there's a lot of texture here actually for a white wine. Still really nice and fresh, but there's definitely like a hint of glossy texture. some sort of mandarin peel, some more peaches. This is a really lovely wine. If you're gonna pair with cheese, I would take a punt on something like Taleggio, something a little bit stinky, a little bit pungent, something semi-soft that's gonna work with the texture of this wine, but also the nice acidity. Okay, wine number 3, our Prosecco. This is made by the Gio estate in Treviso in northeast Italy. Apparently, Gio is the first recorded winery in Italy dating back to 1487. I'm just going to sit with that bit of information for a second. The Gio estate have also been totally organic since the 80s, but let's remember that pre-industrial revolution, there wasn't really any chemicals that we could put in the wine. Being a Prosecco, it's made with the grapes, or the grape Glera, which is also known as Prosecco. So Prosecco is also a grape variety. So, you'll see here, they're quite nice soft bubbles. The bubbles that you get with this Prosecco are definitely not as fervent as a lot of the bubbles you get in other forms of sparkling wine, but that suits this wine, I think. On the nose, you've got that kind of those conference pears. It's really fresh on the nose, actually. What I really like about this is it's got a nice baseline of acidity, not that sickly sweet pear drop vibe that you get with a lot of Proseccos these days. Really nice and fresh. I've used the term fresh a lot this tasting, but I really mean it. All the wines that we've tasted are very fresh. Italy, inherently, the wines, they've got this solid baseline of acidity, which makes them brilliant to drink as like an energetic drink to have or to match with food. I'm a big fan of Prosecco and blue cheese, something like Gorgonzola. The slightly sweet notes that you get from the Prosecco offset the saltiness of the cheese so well, especially if it's a soft cheese. It's a match made. Thank you for joining our socially distanced wine club at Abel Cole. I hope you enjoyed our trip through Italy as much as I did. Please share any photos or videos via the Abel Cole Instagram, Twitter or Facebook. And I hope to see you again really soon. Saluti!